Donald Trump is not giving up. Today was the deadline for him to file for a recount in Wisconsin, and Trump has filed for a recount in 2 liberal counties where he thinks the most of the fraud or impropriety or whatever may have occurred. I don't know if that'll be enough to actually win him the state of Wisconsin, but Trump is certainly putting his money where his mouth is. They reported that it would be like $7.9 million if Donald Trump wanted to file a recount in Wisconsin. Well, now he's going to be spending about $3 million for this recount in these districts. I can't imagine this will be fruitful in the sense that it'll overturn the results of Wisconsin. In Georgia, however, we did see 3 counties where they failed to upload votes in the thousands that actually gave Trump a major net gain, a historical margin. So it's something that needs to be done. And I have to say, putting $3 million up, Trump is serious about challenging and winning this. That's a lot of money. If Trump really was just trying to fundraise off this, I don't think he'd actually spend $3 million. The left is trying everything in their power to convince Trump supporters and regular people that Trump is giving up and it's all a big scam. They've reported when you donate to his recount fund, it actually goes to settle his debt. Oh, maybe, but Trump just put up $3 million for this recount. So I don't know what his plan is. I got to tell you, reading the news about Rudy Giuliani's efforts in court could just be media and liberal bias, or it could be that they're floundering and have no real path other than to just jam things up. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Trump isn't buying a re-election. Maybe he's buying time for some reason. I don't know. I will say, in 2012, Donald Trump tweeted about rigged voting machines. I find it really hard to believe that Trump is that dumb. Maybe. But if in 2012 Trump tweeted the voting machines are rigged and are flipping votes, wouldn't he have prepared something? Maybe there really is a grand kraken going to come and unleash all this evidence. But I got to say, look, you show me the evidence and I'll believe it. For the time being, this is what we're dealing with. The AP reports President Donald Trump filed Wednesday for a recount of Wisconsin's 2 largest Democratic counties, paying the required $3 million cost and alleging they were the sites of the worst irregularities, although no evidence of illegal activity has been presented. Did Trump say illegal activities? I believe he said irregularity. The recounts in Milwaukee and Dane counties will begin Friday and must be done by December 1st. Democrat Joe Biden received 577,455 votes in those 2 counties, compared with just 213,157 for Trump. Biden won statewide by 20,608 votes based on canvassed results submitted by the counties. I don't think Trump's going to get that many votes in a recount, but maybe, probably not. The historical number was Florida previously, it's my understanding, was like 1,300. Now it's Trump's in Georgia with about 1,400. Quote, the official canvass results reaffirmed Joe Biden's clear and resounding win in Wisconsin after Wisconsin voters turned out to cast their ballots in record numbers, said Biden campaign spokesman Nate Evans. A cherry-picked and selective recounting of Milwaukee and Dane County will not change these results. Maybe they're right. Maybe Trump needs to target those counties where voter turnout exceeded 100%. That would probably be a better place to go, but maybe he thinks there's more votes here. They say Milwaukee County is the state's largest, home to the city of Milwaukee, and black people make up about 27% of the population, more than any other county. Dane County is home to the liberal capital city of Madison and the flagship University of Wisconsin campus. Quote, the people of Wisconsin deserve to know whether their election process worked in a legal and transparent way, said Wisconsin attorney Jim Trupis, who was working with the Trump campaign. Regrettably, the integrity of the election results cannot be trusted without a recount in these 2 counties and uniform enforcement of Wisconsin absentee ballot requirements. We will not know the true results of the election until only the legal ballots cast are counted. Dean Knudsen, a Republican member of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, said Trump raised significant legal questions that have never been adjudicated in Wisconsin. But a fellow commission member, Democrat Mark Thompson, said Trump was trying to change the rules of the election after he lost, but only in 2 counties. Quote, that's like losing the Super Bowl and then saying, I want a review of a certain play using different rules than what apply to the rest of the game. That is the essence of hypocrisy and cheating and dishonesty. No, what are you talking about? Asking for a recount is not asking for different rules. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett, a Democrat, called the recount an attack on cities, on minorities, on places that have historically voted Democratic. Don't let anyone fool you that this is about irregularities. Look, man, I got to tell you, this is really just coming down to my side versus your side. And who is the judge going to choose? I'm sure many of these judges are going to have their prejudices, but they might just rule in favor of the establishment of the machine. Why not? Trump is on the outs. He is. That's the reality. The mainstream media, the establishment, is desperately trying to hold on to the narrative, and it's breaking apart. This is good for Trump. And maybe Trump may actually pull through this one, but for now, the establishment is against him. The Democrats are just saying it's an attack and it's an affront, it's racist. And the Republicans are saying there's very serious irregularities. Do we just ignore these irregularities? Is that how it's always worked? It's a game. Barack Obama won because Romney never really cared in the first place. A lot of people mention that what's going on in these various states and cities happens all the time, but Trump is just scrutinizing it now. Isn't it messed up that we needed Trump to scrutinize our elections to bring about better election integrity? That to me is nuts. They say the Trump campaign is also alleging that thousands of voters improperly got around Wisconsin's photo ID requirement by claiming they were indefinitely confined and therefore didn't have to present a photo ID in order to return their absentee ballot. Wisconsin law requires all voters to show an acceptable photo ID to vote both in person and by mail. It does provide exemptions for citizens who are indefinitely confined because of age, physical illness, or infirmity, or are disabled for an indefinite period. The Wisconsin Republican Party sued Democratic Dane County Clerk Scott McDonnell in March, before the state's spring primary, over advice he had posted on his Facebook page that voters could declare themselves indefinitely confined due to the pandemic. Wow. So this might actually work out. Trump might be actually seeking to find voters who didn't vote properly and tried claiming COVID was giving them an exemption, which it probably wouldn't. The Wisconsin Supreme Court ordered McDonnell to stop issuing guidance that is different from official language approved by the Wisconsin Elections Commission. The Trump campaign alleged that the damage was already done before McDonnell was ordered to remove the language. The Trump campaign also alleges that local election clerks issued absentee ballots to voters without requiring an application, in violation of state law. Trump's complaint alleges that 60,000 votes were cast by people who didn't submit a written application but offered no evidence. Elections Commission members Knudsen and Thompson both said they did not know what Trump was referring to in that portion of the complaint. They say, "This was news to me that's been happening." Thompson, a Democratic member, said the claim was not true. Everyone knows you can't get an absentee ballot unless you request it. Trump also claimed that observers in Milwaukee were kept too far away to observe the counting of ballots. I'm going to stop right here. It seems like Trump is buying time for something. Here's the way I described it the other night. If Trump came out and the numbers all said Joe Biden won, and then Trump was like, "I refuse to concede," and that was it, didn't sue, did nothing, they'd be like, "What are you doing? You're not challenging the results. The results are in. What are you doing?" I'm gonna wait. Let's say he does, and then some Republicans refuse to certify for a variety of reasons. They'd be like, "Did Trump know this was going to happen?" So Trump calls for a recount and calls for a bunch of things, and they're confused, like, what is this? Because maybe Trump is saying, hey, I'm challenging. Then something happens. Republican legislatures maybe don't certify the results, or the election boards won't certify, like we almost saw in Michigan. And then Trump goes, oh, look at this. Look at this. Maybe it goes to a contingent election. I don't know. But I will say, at least how Daily Mail is framing it, and I'm not sure I trust them entirely, Giuliani's court bid to overturn Biden victory turns to farce as he forgets judge's name, calls other lawyer that angry man, claims the 11 biggest cities are conspiring to steal the election, then gets directions to the nearest martini bar. Rudy Giuliani appeared in person at federal court in Williamsport, PA. He has taken over Trump's fight to throw out votes in Pennsylvania and other states Joe Biden carried. He forgot the judge's name, called the opposition lawyer that angry man, and claimed 11 of the biggest cities had a conspiracy to steal the election. He claimed only a fool would think it accidental that Biden won the biggest cities. District Judge William Brand gave him until 5 p.m. Wednesday to file a new brief. Earlier, he said the legal team might lose in order to advance its case. We're prepared in some of these cases to lose and appeal and get it to the Supreme Court. I wonder, could it be that Trump cut a deal, that he's really this nefarious mastermind? 40 chess. Brett Kavanaugh, you're with me, right? I'll appoint you. You better return the favor. Amy Coney Barrett, return the favor. I'm not convinced. This just sounds like, look, something's probably going on, because I'll tell you, something is weird. Trump just dumped $3 million into a recount. He's not messing around. Something is planned. Maybe Trump is just like, I will burn every penny I have. Okay. That's because he really wants to win. Or maybe there really is an ace in the hole. That Trump is just waiting, got the ace up his sleeve. At the right moment, he's going to flick it out and be like, four of a kind, I win. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just desperate because he doesn't want to go to jail or something, which I really doubt is going to happen. But I'll tell you this. The left is certainly calling for Donald Trump to go to prison. And let's talk about it. That's right. I got a couple more segments coming up in just a few minutes. So I'll wrap it up with this. I don't know what this is. I think Trump is buying time. I think he's got a plan. I do. I'm not convinced it's going to work, but I think he's buying time for something. Or maybe he doesn't want to go to prison. Let's leave it there. Next segment's coming up in just a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.